Hey, you beautiful twin flames, and welcome back to Tarot for You 444. It's a little bit early here in Australia, but that's okay. My brain is half working, and today I wanted to bring up this topic with you just quickly before we do the twin flame advice reading. I often study men and women, and I really believe that this ties into very strongly, the masculine and the feminine, although we can have those energies within us in general, of course. So sometimes you might get a divine masculine that's in a female body, and a divine feminine. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. If you've been in the twin flame community for a while, you know what I mean. However, I do find that talking about, men and women in particular, and the way they behave and the way they process things, I think I would find this a helpful topic to raise with you, generally speaking. All right. So what I'm trying to get to today is that as I was listening to some videos and thinking about and contemplating, my own life and the men I've met, as in friends that are men and relationships that I've seen, and the many twin flames that I've met and counseled. And I realized something today that was kind of funny, because it was relating to sex. And of course, this can be a taboo topic for some, especially, if you're religious, or if you don't want to talk about that kind of thing. But I think it's kind of important because it really does relate to the twin flame journey as well. So anyway, I'll get into it. So what was happening is these two people were speaking about how men in general like to feel this sex thing, from the get-go, right? So it's like, they weren't saying try before you buy, which would be a really disrespectful thing to say, but it was kind of like they could have a conversation with a woman, let's say, or they could hug a woman, or they could kiss a woman, but until they really got into the nitty-gritty of it, they couldn't really feel what they wanted to feel with her. And so they were relating this back to how in the olden days men went to war, and they had to be that caveman style thing, which is something I often talk about, is that 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 caveman kind of thing that happens with men, where they feel like they have to shut their emotions out and just get on with the task, right? So I found it interesting how they were bringing up that men in general, as a general, need sex first to know whether or not it's right for them, because they're constantly pushing away all of their emotions all of the time. They kind of need to feel that connection. And on the other hand, women needed to find that emotional connection first before they had sex. Or for some women who are religious or spiritual, don't want to have sex until they're married, or at least in a committed relationship, right? Excuse me. There's something divine masculine wants to say in a minute. That's why my throat chakra is playing up, by the way. And I'll get into the reading in just a moment. But I find it interesting that in general, they were speaking about how women really want to feel that emotional connection before they open their legs, let's just put it like that. And men want to open the women's legs before they have the emotional connection. So I I have my own opinion on this after counseling many twin flames. And I wanted you to put your 2 bobs worth in, right? Your opinion in the comments section. You know, do you feel that this relates to you in any way? Maybe in past relationships, maybe not in your twin flame relationship. Maybe your twin flame relationship's completely different. I do feel with twin flames that when you meet your twin flame, there's this automatic attraction anyway. So even if you meet them via text or meet them, you know, in some kind of social media way and not in person, that you kind of feel, some would say kundalini rising, or, you know, this feeling of that you are sexually connected anyway. So it's an interesting topic to say that men in general, because of their heritage, because they used to go to war and have to block off their emotions, and they're even taught nowadays to block off their emotions, just be the man, just be the man, just be the man. Does this mean that they don't want an emotional connection? In my opinion, it's what men are lacking in. It's what men really need. I've spent a lot of time talking with men who have really explained and expressed divine masculine wanting to speak here, their need for physical intimacy in the way of sex. Okay. But I've also heard them say, I've spent too many time with women who weren't going to be the end result or the end happy ever after. And so I find it interesting how there can be 2 sides to a man. There can be this one side where they go out, perhaps are a player, take women home over many years. Wow. Sorry, water today. I'm tapping on a subject that Divine Masculine may not want me to tap on here. It's okay. So yeah, many Divine Masculines have a period in their life where they go out and they have sex with women and there is no emotional connection to the point where they want to end up with the person, okay? Depending on who they are. I mean, this is just a general statement, so don't go saying, oh, well, I know men that, you know, I'm not trying to have an argument. I'm just saying in my counseling and what I've seen, many men have this period in their life where they're constantly cycling through different women in the hopes of finding, they don't know what they're looking for. You know what I mean? It's always like, I don't know what I'm looking for. And they think they're looking for that sexual prize, I guess you could say, when in actual fact they are longing for intimacy. This is an important topic because many female energies or feminine energies or women, on the other hand, feel very used by this. Many women thought they were the one. Many women thought there was more of a connection. Many women see sex as a vital part of their lives, but also many women, I would say, from counseling many women, would say that when they give their body to someone else, that is a sacred thing, that is a sacred act. So to kind of be spat out and be on this, rat wheel of, are you just a sexual object to them that they're filtering through, right? Or are you really important? Becomes an important topic here. Because for most women, giving away their bodies means that they're giving away their soul. If you're making love with someone as opposed to having sex with them, you know what I mean? It can be a very spiritual, very enlightening, very magnificent, magical experience. And so I want you to have a think about this and what it means for you. These are only opinions of other, I think they were marriage counselors that I was, listening to. But is that something you need to discuss with your divine masculine or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it is that you're with currently? Because for some, sex means hooking up or just, you know what I mean? It's just like a fun time. And for others, sex is a very important, sacred thing. Okay. There are many people who are willing to give away their bodies to just anyone. Having a one night stand or having a night out with the girls or a night out with the guys. And they're willing to just give their body to anyone. But I want to remind you here that when you do that, both energies are coming together and fusing. And there's an exchange of energy within the energy of sex. Sex is a sacred energy exchange. So who you give your body to is very important. It's not the same as paying for your groceries with that money in your purse or in your wallet, you know what I mean? You're giving a part of yourself to another, in my opinion. And of course, there'll be those of you who believe that you're free and you should be able to share those experiences with whoever you want to, and that's fine too. But you wouldn't, this is the little segue that I'm going to give here, right? You wouldn't give your brand new Dyson vacuum cleaner that cost $1,000, you would not plug it in to the wrong charge cord, right? Because it's kind of going to make your Dyson vacuum cleaner malfunction. Okay. Your Dyson vacuum cleaner came with a charge cord that's right for the Dyson vacuum cleaner. And in my opinion, twin flames are connected to one another, and that you are sacred to them and they are sacred to you, and that the creator, whoever that is for you, made you, the Dyson vacuum cleaner, fit into the charge cord that was made for you specifically. And when that energy exchanges, it actually charges, not breaks, the Dyson vacuum cleaner. So I want you to have a think about that and what that means for you. Okay. You can say whatever you want. You can disagree with me. You can, do whatever you want because it's your life. But I just want you to think about it. Like, I'm bringing the topic up, not as an argumentative statement, but as a topic that I want you to think about. Because if you are a divine twin flame and you believe that your body is divine and that your spiritual vessel, your soul, is divine, then why would you give it away to anything that's not divine? That's your little question for yourself today. Wow. Wow, divine masculine. He doesn't like that topic, okay? The divine masculine who's not awake. And there's one in the group here that I'm channeling right now. He's not happy about what I just said because he's still in his distorted energy, all right? Okay. Wow. Because I just spoke some truth right there. Okay. For each of you, that's going to mean something different. Each of you are going to have a different perspective on what I just said. All right, this reading, I'm going to quicken it up now because we're going into divine masculine. Wow, he's doing all right. That one distorted divine masculine is getting really mad at me. Wow. Divine feminine. Let's take a little look at you. As well. Okay, I have to cross over to divine masculine now because as I do, my throat chakra is going to clear. He's really wanting to speak to you today, divine feminine. So let's hear what he has to say. He's been working really hard. The universe has given him some kind of opportunity in the recent past, and so he's taken that by the balls, as we'd say in Australia. Right. And he's perhaps singing that little song, I'm in the money, I'm in the money, right? So he's in his masculine energy a lot. He's being creative, he's powering through, he's happy. He's actually happy for a minute. Let's hope he stays that way. Divine feminine, divine masculine. I'll get back to you in a minute. Hang on. Sorry. I'm just having a minute. Divine feminine. You mightn't have been as lucky with your money. You know, nothing too horrible, but you're kind of thinking, how can I make a little bit more? You are grounded. Very proud of divine feminine here. You're thinking about how you can make yourself feel a little bit better. Perhaps you're going out walking. Perhaps you're... Wow. Just dropped all the cards. That's funny. All right. Perhaps you're being funny. Perhaps you're joking around a little bit more. Perhaps you're not taking life as seriously, or at least contemplating not taking life as seriously. I'll get them in a minute. That's good. You do feel a little bit like, excuse me, there's a need to tame this ego a little bit more. Because we have the pissed off card down in the action space in a minute, and we'll get there. Divine masculine is feeling wow, like he's working hard in his physical life, which we got before, but in the back of his mind is his divine feminine. So even if he's with Sally Jensen from accounting right now, I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing because the cards fell on the floor, by the way. I think it's quite hilarious. The universe is being really quite cute today. All right, so he might be with Sally from accounting, but in the back of his mind is you. He might be working, but in the back of his mind is you. He might be helping his cousin make pentacle jewelry for a living. In the back of his mind is you. This is my favorite divine feminine here, BJ. She can have knowledge and psychic ability and intuition like no one else. She's also truthful and highly, highly, highly beautiful in all ways, inside and out. That's how he's thinking of you, divine feminine. Wow, that's really beautiful. Now, let me go on an adventure. Back in the olden days, when I was young, there was this show called The Leyland Brothers on the TV. Ooh. And I mentioned it before. And this song, there was two guys dressed in this camouflage. I don't know, kind of like if you were, venturing out into Africa or somewhere like that, And they had these four-wheel drives, and they were really, let's go into the outback, into Australia, right? And they were called the Leyland Brothers, Mike and Mal from the Leyland Brothers. For those Australians watching, you may remember that show. It was quite funny. So I was just on a little adventure with Mike and Mal, getting those cars. I was just being silly, but let's get back into the reading. So, divine feminine, you're trying to feel, even though it's hard, you're trying to go out on your own and feel this. And there goes my throat chakra for you. I'm fine, everything's fine. I'm drowning. I'm fine, everything's fine. I feel like I'm drowning. Why? Because you miss him. You miss his soul. You miss the other half of your soul. Right? And this is a normal state of being for divine feminine to be in. To miss him is normal. You're completely normal. You're not crazy. It's fine. All right? Any divine masculines watching today, women need intimacy. Most women, not all. Right? Not just sexual intimacy. Intimacy in the way of a hug, a kiss, a compliment, a feeling of, I've got your back. No matter what you do, divine feminine, I've got your back. That's how divine feminine would like to feel. Okay, and so when divine masculine's not there, it feels lonely. Because she's not meant to power through life on her own. I mean, she can. She can for sure. She can do this, Where are we? I can make my own money. I can be in the garden with the birds. I can buy that cool dress on Amazon, right? She can do whatever she wants to do, but she's missing something. There's many twin flame coaches and teachers out there who say, you're completely whole on your own. You're completely whole on your own. You do not need anyone other than you. I would disagree. Because when you know that the other half of you resides somewhere else, you just want to join with it. You just want to be with it. You just want to have union with it. It's like the cake without the icing. Not that you should be eating cake and icing. Goodness me. That's naughty. right? You know what I mean? It's like the Dyson vacuum cleaner without the charger. It'll work for a while, but it needs a charger eventually, doesn't it? Okay. That's my opinion. Okay. You don't have to agree with me, of course. We're all on our own journey. Divine masculine is taking control right now. He's coming through as the emperor again. Wonderful groundedness here. He may also be slightly horny. This is the Who's Your Daddy card for me. And within this going away and pursuing his goals in a work kind of way, within this being alone, figuring out what he wants to do, maybe in career, it's helping him to heal. And for some divine masculines, they've been sad. Every time they're separated from you, though, they begin to realize just exactly what's missing. Maybe just a snippet that time, maybe just a snippet more that time. But as the days go by, their focus, for some of them, I said this the other day, they don't even know what they're working towards. You know, they don't even know what they're grinding their gears on. As men, they're taught that they need to just go out and do this work. You need to have enough. You need to bring home enough. You need to be the provider. You know, all of that old paradigm that we've been taught. And so some divine feminine kind of go, well, he's always at work. I don't get it. But that's how he feels grounded. That's what he's been taught to believe. The more he works, the better he is. The more he works, the sexier he is. The more money he's got, perhaps, for some of them. The more they've got to offer. As you come into your spirituality, you understand that money's nice, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's the connection that you want. But for a divine masculine, going to work is kind of like how a divine feminine might feel when she dances or plants something in the garden. It's like that connection, that feeling of, I belong here on the earth. I belong here. How do I connect to my surroundings, kind of thing? And so divine feminine, I can see that you've really been thinking about your counterpart. You're trying to power through. A little bit like an alpha male. You're trying to power through. And then you kind of go, oh, but I need to ground myself and be nurturing and loving and more receiving. Many of you thinking about, you know, how do I behave? How do I just ground myself for just you and no one else, which is great. But there's this contemplation of twin flame going on. And then there's this kind of same energy coming into pissed offness about it. Where's the justice? Where is he? Why hasn't he shown up yet? I'm good. I'm ready. I'm waiting. And there he is over there working or doing whatever he's doing in his physical life. And you're like, well, for some of you, you're like, well, where is he? For others of you, you're like, I don't give a shit where he is. Oh, hang on, swearing bell. I don't give a shit where he is. Right? he can do what he wants. And there's this coming back into ego again, which is not unconditional love. And of course, you're not really mad at him, you're mad at the situation. How is it that something you want keeps running from you? Some of you are talking with your divine masculine and he goes away and you're not sure when he's going to come back. And that's frustrating too. So the advice now, I'm going to give you the advice. Many divine feminines are coming to the realization that focusing upon themselves is the best thing to do. But then they kind of get back into that pissed offness. Well, where is he? Because I am focusing on myself. And I understand that very much. I understand that. Okay. The reason you're feeling drawn to your divine masculine too at this time is because he's focused on himself. So he's kind of grabbed that apple and turned around with his unconditional love, and it's still there for you, but he's turned around and he's focusing on other stuff. And so you miss him a lot. I want you to understand this drowning the feeling that you're feeling divine feminine, that comes and goes. You may not have it all the time, but it may come and go. This drowning feeling, you know, I'm doing fine, I'm doing fine, and no, you're not really. You're telling yourself you're doing fine and you're not. Or you are doing fine, and then you're going, I'm drowning. It's a very strange place to be, because on the outside, you look great, you look fantastic, you look like you've got everything together. And under the surface, you are literally arguing with yourself, right? You can get up and put your makeup on and get dressed and have a shower and get on with your day every day of your life. But if your inner turmoil isn't dealt with here, you're going to live a miserable life as opposed to a happy life. Many of you are mad with your divine masculine because you think that he is out over there doing that thing that he shouldn't be doing, because he should be coming in and talking with you. But I'm here to tell you that it's your inner turmoil within inside of you that you haven't dealt with, and that's why your divine masculine is over there. It's a very, very difficult thing to come to terms with, that there may be something inside of yourself that you haven't dealt with that's causing another person to be over there and doing what they're doing. It doesn't sound fair. It's like, well, hang on a minute. How come, because this is what it feels like for a divine feminine, how come what I'm doing is so important? Why isn't what he's doing so important? Okay? Because it kind of feels like all the blame comes back on the divine feminine. But the truth of the matter is that both souls are in, what am I trying to say? Both souls are moved by what the other does. Okay. So I want you to know, whether you're a divine masculine or a divine feminine, that there are ways to do the twin flame journey that are easier than what many coaches are saying. It's this constant story of, you need to heal this within yourself, you need to do this within yourself, you need to this, you need to that, you need to this, you need to that. Okay, I have a 1 hour instructional video if you're so inclined to get that, which will take the guesswork out of all of it. All right, but many of you, if you want that, let me know. My details are in the description box. But this here is an inner battle inside of the divine feminine. This theme of, I'm doing fine, I'm doing fine, I'm doing fine. You do look fine. Even many of you have come to me in the past, and I've counseled, I don't know how many now, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you have come to me in the past, and it's the same thing going on. You love them so much, so much, and you want to be with them, and you deserve to be with them, in union with them. But there's so much stuff inside of you that you don't want to take a look at. The hardest thing to do is to grab that magnifying glass and look at yourself. The hardest thing to do is to realize that there's things inside of you that need to change. For some of you, it's just a perspective change. For some of you, it might be a bad behavior that needs to change. For some of you, there's this real scared feeling around love because you think someone's going to leave. Some of you believe that your divine masculine's going to leave. Some of you have this belief system that all men ever do is leave. Some of you have fathers that did that. Some of you have husbands that did that, or lovers that did that. Many of you are telling yourself this story about men in general. They're all players. All they want is sex. They're going to get mad at me. They're going to leave me. All they ever do is work. They're holding secrets from me. They're just interested in money. They don't understand what the twin flame journey is. They're always away from me. They never talk to me. Can you see what's happening in your mind here? There's this telling of the story. Already you've told the story. Already you know the ending. I bet if I asked you the question, what happens in the Three Little Pigs? The Three Little Pigs, the kids' story. Some of you would know it and some of you wouldn't know it. Maybe if I said, well, do you know about Hansel and Gretel? And you'd say, oh, yeah, I know that story. But some of you might not. But if I asked you the question about men, what do men do? What do the men do around you in your life? What do they do? Many of you say, well, they all leave. They all have sex some of you might say, they all have sex with women and then they leave. They're non-committal. They don't care about my feelings. They don't know how to love me. They don't know how to nurture me. And how many women in the world right now are saying the same story? How many women are saying this same story to men in their lives that are trying to be nurturing, that are trying to be committal, that are trying to be what you actually do want? And you're like, well, that's too good to be true. How many of you are actually physically pushing men away, or mentally pushing them away, energetically pushing them away, because you believe a certain thing about them already? You know, it's like if someone said, do you want a chocolate ice cream? And I say, yeah, I do. I love chocolate ice cream. It tastes great. Someone else says, do you want a man? No way. No. Because he's just going to use me. He's not going to commit to me. He just wants sex with me. He doesn't want anything else. Doesn't want nurturing. Doesn't want love. Doesn't want intimacy. But is that really true? Or is that the story you're telling? Because you're creating your own story here. What you believe to be true, you manifest for yourself. Many of you are manifesting this story. My DM never talks to me. My DM, wow, throat chakra. My divine masculine is never going to leave his partner, or my divine masculine is always too busy at work, or my divine masculine isn't intimate, he just wants sex. My divine masculine is this. What if you told yourself all of the things that you truly wanted from him, just to see what happens? What if you said, my divine masculine is intimate. My divine masculine is going to talk to me. My divine masculine knows how to treat a lady. Take gender how it resonates. My divine masculine is beautiful. My divine masculine is nurturing, is loving, is humble, is kind, is... Right? Our expectation of our divine partner is also important. If you're expecting your divine masculine to be a certain way, 9 times out of 10 he's going to show up that way. If you're just expecting your divine masculine to turn it around a little bit, I wonder what's possible then. You know, that picture you drew, or that house you bought, or that online business you created, or that, what else? Portrait you made of your face when you did your makeup, right? As you create something, it manifests in front of your very eyes. You know, you might get up in the morning if you're a female and you might do your makeup. You've started with a blank canvas and you've made a portrait, you know, a beautiful picture of yourself. Your twin flame journey is the same. Why can't it be the most romantic thing that's ever happened? Why can't it be the most beautiful, nurturing, loving experience that you've ever happened to you? Why can't it be what dreams are made of? I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about your thought patterns in relation to love, in relation to sex or making love, and in relation to men and women and their stereotypes and archetypes, and what conversations you're telling yourself about your counterpart, and also what conversations you're telling yourself about you. I'm going to leave it there because I've gone a little bit over time, but I'm so grateful you joined me today. I think this is a really poignant, important reading. And I'm sending you love and blessings from Australia. I hope you have a beautiful day, night, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are. If you need a personal reading, or my Ascension package, or my Manifesting Twin Flame video, or my meditation videos, or negative energy clearings, all of my information and details are down in the description box. I invite you to contact me if you feel guided to do so, and I wish you a day of much peace. Okay. Bye everyone. Bye.